Did he used to do any good deed, or did he remember while he was alive of doing any good deed? And the man responded that فَقَالَ مَا عَمِلْتُ. He was asked, مَا عَمِلْتُ, what did you do? قَالَ مَا عَمِلْتُ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ إِلَّا أَنَّنِي كُنْتُ رَجُلًا ذَا مَالٍ فَكُنْتُ أُطَالِبُ بِهِ النَّاسَ فَكُنْتُ أَقْبَلُ الْمَيْسُورِ وَأَتَجَاوَزْ عَنِ الْمَعْصُورِ. He said the only thing I can recollect that I did or that I used to do is that I used to be wealthy. Then people who used to owe me money, some of them will be poor people, some of them will be well-to-do. Those who are well-to-do, I used to excuse them on some things, maybe overlook some things for them. While those who are poor or who are poor, فَكُنْتُ أَتَجَاوَزُ عَنِ الْمَعْصُورِ, I used to pardon them. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ كَانَ ذُو عُسْرَةٍ فَنَذِرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. If somebody is owing you and the person is poor, it's not that he doesn't want to pay you. The person doesn't have what to pay you with. فَنَذِرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, give him respite till the person has the ability to pay. But this man, not that he will give the person respite till he has the ability to pay. This man said, وَأَتَجَاوَزْ عَنِ الْمَعْصِيَةِ. I will overlook it. I will give him the debt that is owing me. He said, this is the only thing that I can recollect. It was said, فَقَالَ تَجَاوَزُ أَنَ عَبْدِي. Allah told the angel, overlook the shortcomings of my servant. Because of what? Because of what they will do. This tells us that we should also be lenient with people. The Prophet ﷺ said, رَحِمَ اللَّهُ رَجُلًا سَمْحًا إِذَا بَاعَ وَإِذَا اقْتَضَى وَإِذَا اشْتَرَى. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on the man that is samh, that is lenient. إِذَا بَاعَ, when he's selling to the people, it's not that he wants to make profit by all means. Even if it's going to affect the economy, even if it's going to ruin the people. Samhan is somebody who is lenient. وَإِذَا اشْتَرَى, likewise, whenever he's buying, he's always lenient. It's not somebody, when he's buying, he would like to cheat people. He wants to get something cheaper, even if it's going to affect the person. He knows that this is not the right price for this thing. Because maybe the seller has made a mistake. They want to utilize that opportunity in order to cheat the person. Samhan إِذَا اشْتَرَى وَإِذَا اقْتَضَى, likewise, if he asking, demanding for the debt that somebody is owing him. So this hadith tells us about generosity. The second hadith is the hadith of the prostitute. I mentioned this in the last lecture. This prostitute was one of the Jews. This woman was a prostitute, and we all know the ruling of prostitution. We know the punishment for prostitution. But it happened that this woman saw a dog that was panting seriously, and she could not bear this. She felt for this dog, and she used her shoes in order to collect water for this dog to drink. And for this reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pardoned this woman, despite the fact that what? She was a prostitute. Now, this is not an evidence that one should now belittle sin. As we said during the lecture, that somebody who is upon Tawheed, he does not associate partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't tell that the person, even if he commits anything, you can't tell the person will dwell in hellfire forever. Don't be overzealous in condemning people to hell. Because you see a brother of yours doing some things that are un-Islamic, doing some acts of sin. Yours is to give talk. Yours is to admonish. It is not yours to condemn that, oh, you can never see the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You remember the hadith in Sahih Bukhari of the man who was telling his friends that lan yakfir Allahu lak, Allah will never forgive you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, man al-muta'alli ala Allah, who is the one speaking on behalf of Allah, establishing that Allah will not forgive somebody. And Allah says, qad ghafartu lahu, I've forgiven him, wa ahbattu amalak. Then you that are saying Allah will not forgive somebody, I have rendered your deed useless. For somebody to have vouched that Allah, or for him to have said Allah will not forgive somebody, that is not your own. Yours is to give talk, is to admonish. Yours is to tell people this is what Allah wants, this is what Allah does not want. But for you to say, oh, you are going to hellfire, you are going to dwell in hellfire forever, Allah may decide to forgive the person as long as he has not committed shirk. As long as the person has not committed shirk. But that is not an excuse for somebody who is participating in things that are haram to continue to do that. Because if he takes that as an excuse, he himself may fall in another kufr, which is what? Belittling the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the verse that we read in the morning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَفَأَمِنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ, do they feel secure against the punishment of Allah? فَلَا يَأْمَنُ مَكْرَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. Nobody will rest assured or will feel secure from the punishment of Allah except the loser. Likewise, the surah, the verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about those who came after, and they were only running after only things, partaking in things that are haram, and they were assuring themselves, فَيُغْفَرُ لَنَا, Allah will forgive us. Allah will forgive us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَمْ يُخَذْ عَلَيْهِمْ مِثَاقُ الْكِتَابِ Allah يَقُولُ عَلَى اللَّهِ إِلَى الْحَقِّ. Has it not been taken from them the covenant of the book that they shouldn't say anything about Allah except the truth? So, in this, we see that the balancing is that even if somebody is committing sin, as long as the person is not committing shirk, you cannot condemn the person to hell. Likewise, the one who is committing sin should not, because a woman was forgiven despite the fact that she was a prostitute, now use that as excuse. And that's why Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahmahullah ta'ala said this type of thing is something that has to do with what khusus is a special case that will not be generalized. We will not take somebody a prostitute now that if you want Allah to forgive you, start looking for a dog in order to watch, to feed water. With that, Allah will forgive you. Because that is not what the Prophet ﷺ has recommended or what Allah has recommended. But the act of being kind to animals is recommended. Like the woman who was punished for maltreating the cat. This one is, this woman was pleased. Allah was pleased with her by also treating an animal well. So this tells us the benefit and importance of being generous, even if it is to animals. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the question is, was the woman a Jew? Yes, she was a Jewish woman. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.